welcome back, everybody. Hot Mike rolls on this Friday morning. Ryan Babbitt's NDSU's newest football commit for the class of 2025 will join us in about a half hour's worth of time. Also, we'll give you if you missed it, Shelby Frank's fantastic performance yesterday at the NCAA Track Championships and the hammer throw. We had Shelby on a week ago today, and she's an All-American again, now in a third different discipline. We'll show you what she did coming up later on in the show. But for you, those of you who love your football, you've got another couple weeks of it before it really shuts down, before we got preseason. The United Football League, which is the combo of the United States Football League and the XFL, they have been going for the last 2 years. This year, they combined into 8 teams. And North Dakota State has a couple of former Bison that played in the league. We know Darius Shepard. We featured him several times with the St. Louis Battlehawks. They're still alive. St. Louis will play I believe it's the San Antonio Brahmas tomorrow or on Sunday, in one of the XFL Conference Championship. The USFL Conference Championship is tomorrow, 2 o'clock on WDAY. The Michigan Panthers are playing the Birmingham Stallions. And a member of the Stallions is one North Dakota State All-American offensive lineman, Zack Johnson, who earlier this week was named the UFL Guard of the Year. I had a chance to visit with Zack late yesterday afternoon, prior to them getting ready for their game on Saturday, about this experience and trying to get back to the National Football League.
It's been a crazy ride with the NFL and stuff. And last season, I didn't have as much film and stuff as I thought and playing wise. So I ended up being able to get a chance here and take an opportunity and showcase what I got.
Named Guard of the Year. I mean, that goes a long way. Tell me how this experience gone even better than you hoped?
Yeah, it's gone pretty good. I mean, obviously, I had one goal in mind, was to come down here and get tape. And I mean, obviously, everybody has their COVID story. And when I came out, it was COVID, and it happens to the best. And I mean, this is my story. So, yeah.
Describe the level of players for people that aren't watching it. How good are the guys you're going up against here?
Yeah, I think it's obviously growing. I mean, they had the XFL and the USFL last year, and I seen some names that were just kind of popping up to me, and I was like, I know that guy. I've came across that guy. So, obviously, the level of play has probably increased over the years of this league, and now they join together. So it's been pretty good play.
Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, it's been fun for sure.
What's been maybe the most surprising or eye-opening experience about the year for you?
Probably just playing in the spring again. Obviously, getting back to spring ball type thing in college. That was kind of tough. I mean, we have OTAs and the pros, but it's more or less just kind of playing games, getting game ready during the spring. It's a little different than the fall, but yeah.
What did your agent tell you about this experience, about this being a pathway to get back to the NFL?
Yeah, obviously we know that this is kind of like the last chance. I mean, you got to get film on tape and stuff. And like I said, when I came out during COVID, it wasn't the best time. So we had no preseason games at the time. And now it's just I got games under my belt and showing that I can play.
When you look back at that, I know it's totally out of your control, but yourself, Derek, Ben, you guys were all in the same boat. How do you look back and now say, man, if we had a pro day, things could have been completely different?
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, it is what it is. And I mean, I'm not going to complain. That's not who I am or what I want to be. But luckily, those guys came out and they did what they needed to do to get to where they wanted to be. And I still feel like I got a lot of meat left on the bone, and I want to prove that to people. So that's where I kind of stand with that.
What was the experience so far in the NFL? Did it live up to what you dreamt about? What was it like for you?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, I met some great guys, learned a lot of good stuff, obviously through Billy and other people that I've came across or looked up to at some point. It's been all around a good experience. I just want to make sure that I get my experience that I want,
Kolpak and I were talking actually today about your senior year, that 2019 offensive line. 4 of the guys are playing professional football, yourself included. I mean, at the time, were you realizing like we got something pretty good up front here?
Yeah, obviously after we started winning all those games, I mean, it kind of just triggered to me that it obviously we're a good offensive line. I knew that was there, but I know at one point me and Dylan had talked about, it's just crazy to think that, I mean, for sure all of us should be in the league at some point or part. Just we didn't know what it was.
and Cody Mauch was backing you guys up. Like he wasn't,
Yeah.
he was your backup guy, right?
Cody's that man. I mean, he is that man that he formed into offensive lineman, and everybody loves him, and he has that energy that you just want in the room.
What is Zach, give me a North Dakota State offensive lineman. What kind of weight does that carry when people say, oh, you played NDSU, then you played offensive line? What's the reputation with that?
Yeah, obviously it's tough for some people to hear when they hear North Dakota State. They kind of just get shocked because it's like they know what our culture and what our program has done so far, and obviously what we're going to keep doing. But it's just at the end of the day, it's just for them to be eye open and be like, oh, they kind of know, they have a sense of what's going on and who I am. So I feel like most of us are humble enough to understand that it's like it's not something you very voice your opinion about and be like, oh, I played there. It's just kind of once they find out and they realize that, it's kind of a different perspective.
Tell me about this matchup you have coming up on Saturday. What are you excited about? And chance, if you win this, you got a chance to play for the championship.
Yep. So we played them actually last week, which is kind of crazy, but we're going to play them again this week on the Michigan Panthers, and just excited to get back, play football again.
Looking at the other side, I know Darius Shepard is playing in St. Louis. Have you thought about, hey, a chance to play them for the championship? How that might be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be crazy. I mean, we played each other a couple weeks ago, and it was just, I mean, for kind of surreal just to see him on the other side of the ball, knowing that obviously I'd like him on my side, but it is what it is, knowing that. But I mean, yeah, he's been doing good as well.
What's fan support like? Has that surprised you? I know St. Louis goes crazy. What is it for you guys? What's it been like?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun in Birmingham. Great support. Obviously, the fans come out when the game's on and stuff, so it's good.
I know NDSU got another offensive lineman from Spring Lake Park, another Johnson in Bo. Yeah. What do you know about him? I know the Bison coaches are pretty high on him coming up for this year.
Yeah, so I met Bo I think last summer. We crossed paths. I went home and worked out a little bit at the high school, and yeah, just kind of they asked about him if I was related to him, and I actually wasn't, so it was kind of crazy. But yeah, another Johnson, and good for him. I mean, hopefully he lives up to the standard.
I'm interested to see what the weight of offensive line at NDSU. You were in the middle of it. Now to see how we were just talking about it. What there's a couple more guys that just got committed to it, that they want it. They know how important it is, what the history of it is. You're part of that. How proud are you of that, knowing that lineage just keeps going? It's been going forever. You were a part of it, and it's still going now.
Yeah, obviously there's those older guys that have taught me, Landon Leckler and Jack, Big Jack. So it's been crazy to listen to those guys and talk about the fun times, the good times, the winning culture. I have no doubt that Tim's going to do a great job up there and make sure those guys get right. I mean, that was one guy that when I came in, he said, hey, I mean, this place don't want you, come here. And that's why I went there. And he said, you want to win. And that's what I wanted to do. And I ended up winning.
Give me your best recollections of Coach Polisek. What do you remember getting on campus, meeting him? What was that like for you?
Oh, just the energy. I mean, you just wanted to be around the guy. He was always high energy. Make sure you got in the right spot at the right time, and make sure you understand what kind of play you're playing. I mean, he wants you to be physical. He wants you to do the right things. He wants you to get you to where your goals are. I mean, it's very clear with him what he wants, and I appreciate him every ounce of the way.
Last question for you, but I really appreciate the time. So whenever this ends, are you hoping phone call rings? Hey, training camp, we love it. Love to invite you. Give me your hopes and what could potentially happen here when this thing wraps up.
Yeah, obviously I want to get back to it. I mean, a call would be great. That's what I'm hoping for, and obviously that's why I came down here, to get my job done and get it back to where I wanted it to be. So yeah.
You feel like you've done enough on tape now that I've got enough here to, hey, somebody give me a shot?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, like I said, when I came out during COVID, there was the teams that either picked me up or had a workout with. That's all that who knew me. So, I mean, now I actually got tape on film. So hopefully somebody's glancing at it and somebody can see it.
Good stuff there with our guy, Zack Johnson. So this was the 2019 offensive line, not the starters, because Carson Shooting was the starter at center for the Bison. You look back, the national championship game, 2019 season, 2020 NDSU James Madison game, right? The starting, oh man, the starters for that game on the offensive line went as follows. The left tackle was Dylan Radins, who was drafted in the second round by the Tennessee Titans. Worked out all right for him. The left guard that year was Zack Johnson, who is about to begin his second year with the Carolina Panthers. Started games in the NFL last year. I mentioned Carson Schuning was the center. Carson was set to come back, and he was a junior in 19. He was a senior in 20, and obviously played that one game in the fall and was done. But he was trending. He was a really good player. Should not be overlooked in that. The right guard was the guy we just talked to in Zack Johnson, who has had a cup of coffee with several NFL teams, Green Bay, Denver, Arizona, Baltimore. He played in a game with the Titans, actually replacing Radins, who got hurt. So that he got in, I think, about 4 or 5 snaps. He's not played a ton of NFL football. That's why he decided to go this route. I think he's got a heck of a chance to get an invite, much like Darius Shepard did after last year when he got his invite to the Denver Broncos. And then the right tackle in that game was Cornell Volson, who was obviously drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals and just wrapped up his second year in the NFL. And you heard me mention the flex guy on that offensive line was one Cody Mauk, who was on his way the following year to taking over for Radins at the left tackle spot. And we know the rest was history after that. Think of that. Those guys all played on the same team. I mean, we talked about it with the 21 offensive line with Jalen Sundell and going through, and Jay Kubis a couple months ago through the draft process. And that offensive line was pretty darn good. In fact, all of them are in the NFL. That one in 19, hard to beat. They all played for one FCS team, not Alabama, not Michigan, not Nebraska, not Wisconsin. They played at North Dakota State. You may not ever see that again. Now, the Bison are going to always get really talented offensive linemen. They have it on this year's team. It's funny, I asked Zach about Bo Johnson, who, young man from the same hometown as Zach is, from Spring Lake Park in Minnesota. They're not related. Bo's got a lot of high expectations surrounding him for this upcoming year. That's the kind of player they like to get. Zach was the same kind of way coming out of high school. He was not highly touted. He came in and had a dynamite career. He was a third-team All-State player, was Zach out of high school. Star Tribune, second-team All-Metro. Right, those are solid honors, but we're not talking Mr. Football or some of the other accolades. Like Radins was nominated for Mr. Football as an offensive lineman. That immediately got your attention when he was playing at Becker High School by St. Cloud. Then he went in, Johnson, and started, as you saw in the graphic, 46 consecutive games. He started every game as a sophomore, a junior, and a senior. He did not come out of the lineup after that. 2-time All-American, 2-time first-team All-American. He had a dynamite career. Should not be overlooked what he did in his time in Fargo. And we'll see what happens. Tomorrow's game, as I mentioned, that is on ABC between Michigan and Birmingham. You'll get to see the big fella playing 2 o'clock tomorrow on WDAY. The other game with Darius Shepard in St. Louis is at 6 o'clock Sunday night. That is on Fox. We'll break. We come back. We'll wrap up hour one. Big second hour plan here on our final show of the week. Back on Hot Mic after this.